Hey everybody, it's Alzay Calhoun with Covenant Consultant. We're here with this week's Facebook Live, and we've had some really good conversations in the Facebook group lately. It's interesting to me to be a part of this conversation that is actively maturing. The kinds of questions and conversations and dialogue we were having a few weeks ago is different than the kinds of questions and conversations and the kinds of dialogue that we're having now. It's becoming clear to me that, and it's hard to describe what I'm talking about unless you're in the group, unless you're part of the dialogue, unless you're part of the conversation. This is not about marketing for the sake of marketing. It's not about an agency for the sake of having an agency. It's about how your agency serves your clients. It's about what corner of marketing your agency needs to own so that it can serve your clients at the highest possible level. It's a different way of thinking. It's not the marketing hack stuff. It's not the growth hack stuff. It's not the trick, tool, platform of the week type stuff. It's not the woe is me, X made a change kind of stuff. Like when Facebook makes a change or Google makes a change and everybody panics and trips out. It's not that kind of conversation. It's the kind of conversation that creates a better agency for you. It's the kind of conversation that creates a better agency for those you serve. And isn't that the point? So it puts something good in my spirit. So I'm happy to see us doing what we're doing, conversing like we're conversing. And if you're not a part of the group, I think you're missing out. I think you should really consider being in the group. Heck, it's free, right? So great. Hey, Nelson. Hey, Emily. Hey, Lynn. Good to see y'all here getting us started. By the way, seasons are changing here right now, and I'm going through it. You'll hear me sniff. You'll hear I might sneeze a couple of times. I'm trying to stay hydrated with the water. I got tissue on the floor. We're live. This is real life. Imperfect. We're working. Okay. What matters a lot to me is that you look at your business as a business. What matters a lot to me is that you look at you take on the mantle of owner, take on the mantle of leader, and look at your business as something, as an asset to build. And that's what these Facebook Lives are about, to help continue and push on that conversation so you design the kind of agency you actually intended on designing. And there are three crucial elements, systems that move you in that direction. How you do client acquisition, how you do client service, how you do client retention. Those are intentionally built systems. If you are not intentionally building those systems, then you will continue to flounder and spin and consider and wonder and complain, etc., etc. At some point, you got to draw a line between all this work that you're doing and the business you actually want to run, and make some choices about where these things shake out, how these things should work. You got to make some choices. That's what I care about. That's why I do these things, specifically why I do this Facebook Live. I want to help you reconsider those choices. If it's time for a conversation, you've seen a lot of content, all that feels great, and it's time for a conversation. There's a link up, down, left, right, somewhere on this video that you're looking at, and you can schedule some time. We can talk about the program that I offer, the problem that you have, and to make sure that what I offer helps you resolve your challenges. But that's my program. Focuses on client acquisition, client service, client retention, seeing them as separate systems, and implementing those systems quickly inside your business. That's the point of the program. So if that sounds good, schedule some time. We'll talk. We'll figure it out. Works, great. Works, or it doesn't work, great. Okay. We got some agenda items here. Emily's going to be mad at me. So Emily is my virtual assistant, and she's helping me. She's helping me navigate these things. Emily, cue the first one up. She already has, because she's on fire. So the first agenda item for today is how do you build trust? So I'm pulling concepts that are in the group. Sometimes people say these things outright. Sometimes it's kind of what people are implying when they ask their question. We have some dialogue, and I want to highlight those things. So one is about how do you build trust, right? And trust is one of those marketing buzzwords. Everyone says it. We all like to, applaud at the idea. We all want to be trustworthy, certainly. But the way that we go about building trust is awkward for us. It is also awkward for those we serve. So let's think about trust more literally, right? Let's bust a myth. Trust is not required to make a sale. Trust is not required to make a sale. Here's proof. Here's proof. I don't wish this on you, but let's say that you have a car accident, four-way stop. You were going to drive through. Somebody else doesn't stop like they're supposed to. You get jackknifed, right? Breaks the car in half, and there you are, trapped in the car. There you are, trapped in the car in the center of this intersection, right? You are banged up. You are bloody. It's a bad day, right? This is uncomfortable. Somebody runs up to the car and says and asks you the question, would you like some help getting out of the car? You're trapped. You're jackknifed. You're stuck. Would you like some help getting out of the car? Do you stop and ask for credentials? No, wait. Before you try to help me, let me know that you have a degree in car mechanics. Let me know that you are an engineer. Let me know that you are a doctor. Wait, before you try to help me, please list off for me your credentials. Is that what you do as you're jackknifed in the center of that intersection? Or do you say, please do whatever you can to get me out of this bad situation? At that moment, you're not concerned about trust. At that moment, you are most concerned about solving the immediate problem facing you. Now, again, I don't wish that on you, right? And I realize that inside your business, everything isn't inside your client's business. Everything isn't about them bleeding and that grandiose situation. I get that. But I'm trying to quickly make a point that building trust is not required in every situation. That's not the point. The point is that you are able to clearly identify the problem trapped in a car, and you're able to clearly identify how to get them out. That's the point. If you can do that, then this thing called trust that we don't really understand, right? This thing called trust becomes a whole lot less important. So then the application in your business is to be more critical and clinical with the problem you are solving for the person you're talking to. And if you are critical and clinical about that problem, then you don't have to play this trust game. So what normally happens in this conversation of trust is what you're taught is that you've got to speak to the client or speak to the prospect 7 times before they make a purchase. You've got to develop this 19-part email autoresponder series. You've got to create these long content pieces. You've seen all this. You've seen all this. You may have even created that kind of content. You may have even offered that advice to someone else. And is there value in that stuff? Absolutely, right? I create content. I do those things. And there's value in having those things. There is. But the core point, the most important point, is to identify the problem of the person you are talking to and be clear that you can solve it. And when you do that, there's a lot of other mechanics you don't have to have. All that trust stuff normally comes off wonky. It comes off weird. It comes off strange because it feels like, to the person you're talking to, it feels like you're trying to buffer for a sale. In a minute, you're going to ask them for something. In a minute, you're going to propose something. In a minute, you're going to do what you're supposed to do, which is flat out ask if you can help them. But you're not doing that right now. Right now, you're playing nice. Right now, you're buying coffee. Right now, you're delivering donuts. Right now, you're sending them the 9th email. Right now, you've invited them to watch 45 minutes of content. I mean, you put this stuff in between their problem in their desired solution. It's weird. It's weird. You're better served, your prospect, your client is better served if you identify the problem in front of them and aggressively focus on solving it. Done. Turn the page. All right. So Emily's teasing me. All right. So I thought I was getting ahead of you, Emily. Cue us up for the next, if you will. One of the things we do inside the program is we focus on the most direct way of not only getting in touch with your prospective client, but also how to build trust, how to make the ask, how to get direct about what it is you're trying to do as quickly as possible. It doesn't have to involve all the mechanics. It doesn't have to be that complex. In fact, what happens often is we end up scraping, eliminating, pushing away all of the extra stuff that you thought you had to do to build the agency that you're actually after. So if it's time for that kind of conversation, if you want to just push to that goal, there's a link somewhere around. You can click that, schedule some time, and then we can have that conversation. So we've got agenda item number 2, which is overteaching clients. So again, I'm summarizing some of the dialogue that's happening inside the group, and there's this narrative, and I get it. There's this narrative that is clients don't understand. Clients don't understand, and I agree with you. Your client does not understand. Your existing client doesn't understand. Your prospective client doesn't understand. Your happy client, the one that you've served and is now you sent back off into the world, they don't understand either. There's a lot of things that you do inside your business that are missed by those who you serve, whether it's a prospect, a client, or past client. There's a lot of things that you do. There's a lot of value that's in the equation that they don't fully digest, that they don't fully get. A trap you can get caught in is trying to explain all that stuff to the client, trying to teach them about what you do. The assumption is if you teach them, then they'll better appreciate it. How's that working, right? How's that going? Now, we're having this dialogue, right? I completely agree with the concepts of education-based marketing. Absolutely agree. I think the concepts of education-based marketing, the concept of permission-based marketing, those are concepts that I am in full agreement with, full agreement with. Again, the way you do those things matter. The way you deploy those things matter. How you apply those ideas matter. And you can offer a lot of content that goes right over people's heads. You can, whether it's content that you're offering out into the world, or whether it's content that you're offering on the phone, you're having a conversation, and here you are teaching web design to a non-web designer. Here you are teaching video marketing to a non-video marketing person. Here you are trying to teach copywriting to a non-copywriting person. Here you are trying to teach content to a non-content person, trying to teach ads to a non-ad person. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Get out of the business of teaching. Get out, even if you're doing education-based marketing. Get out of the business of teaching. They're not there. They're not there. They're not engaging with you so they can learn about your particular expertise. They're talking with you. They're engaging with you, whatever that means. They're engaging with you because they believe your expertise will move a metric in their business. They believe that your expertise will solve a problem in their business. They believe that your expertise will make something happen inside their business. So the more you explain about HTML code, the more you explain about WordPress plugins, the more you explain about SEO, the latest SEO thing, doesn't meet any of those needs. It just doesn't communicate. So can you overteach? You can absolutely overteach. Danger, warning, right? So the better way of thinking about that is you give the decision maker what is most essential to make the big decision. Now, how do you do that? Well, that's a thing, right? You don't just you don't snap your fingers and the best words come out. It's kind of a thing. There's an approach involved. There's a beginning, a middle, and an after, right? But that's the idea here, is that you're communicating what's most essential so your decision maker can actually make a decision. So Jack's got a question well, thank you, Jack. So Jack's making the point. Emily, cue us up for the next agenda item, please. Jack's making the point about the car accident. When you start looking at your clients, and I'm completely serious. When you start looking at your clients and you see them with a different filter, you see them with a different filter. You begin to see them as someone trapped in that jackknife car, right? You're listening and they're talking, and the more they talk, what you're seeing is that interaction. And the more they talk, you go, oh my God, it's about to happen. Boom. Oh, there it is. They are jackknifed in the car. As they talk to you, that's what you're hearing. And so you begin to listen for the deepest problem that's facing them, which is not going to be labeled SEO, by the way. When they tell you about what's really going on, what's really affecting them in their business, it's not going to be called video marketing. That's not what they're going to say when they get to the conclusion. They're not going to say, and really we need a web designer. Like that's not how it's going to land. So you got to listen to it again, see them differently, listen differently, and that conversation changes 100%. What you'll find is that you can use your digital marketing expertise to solve the problem that's facing them. Your whole business changes right there. And when you make that connection, life happens quickly. Okay. So Nelson's got a comment here. There are many things I'm very good at: voice coaching, copy editing, content creation, article writing. Among all of these, how do you identify your premium service? Right. So what's real? Good. Thank you, Nelson. Because what's real for a lot of people inside the group and for a lot of digital marketers in general is that you are good at a lot of things. You have either, for many digital marketers, you have side projects. The website you built on the side, that email autoresponder thing that you tried that didn't work very well, or you bought 3 or 4 different email autoresponders. You tried 3 or 4 different WordPress themes. You tried 3 or 4 different video hosting platforms. You've experimented with stuff. You tried stuff. You tinkered with stuff. And so as a result of that, you know a lot. You know how copy works. You know how video works. You know how content works. You offer a variety of skills, or you have a variety of skills. What ends up happening, I'm saying this to Nelson, I'm saying this to everyone else as well, is what you end up offering to your client, the core service, that fundamental thing that you end up offering to your client, is going to end up being a mix of those things. Video people know that if you're going to make video useful, it's not just about the video itself. You make a video, right? What do you give it to them on a USB, or you send it to them via some file sharing program? Then what happens? Something else has to happen after you make the video, right? Some other skills are involved. Even if you write content for someone, you write a blog post for them. So you write a blog post, you edit it up really good, maybe you put it in Google Drive and you send it over. Then what? Like, something has to happen after that, right? So that content's got to be put somewhere, which involves a skill. So it's formatted the right way, wherever you put it. It's got to be promoted in some way, which involves a skill wherever you promote it. So your core service the meat of your offering may still be, I'll call it content creation right now, may still be content creation, but there's some things before and after that are required to make the content work. And so you have to offer those inside the service. You can't just say, oh, we don't do that part. You've got to make sure that what you offer actually solves the problem. So if someone's jackknifed in the car and you say, oh, I have a pair of pliers. Great, they're still inside the car. So you've got to use the pliers to actually get them out of the car. You know what I'm saying? There's the application is what they need. Solve the problem. So, hey, Nelson, if you need help with that, if we should have a conversation about how to do that. I got a program. That's what it's for. It's designed to help you figure out what this service is so you can offer it the right way. It's a thing. You got to think it through. So, all right, good. So, next agenda item here. We got number 3. Is your way working for you? Yeah, this is good. Okay, so So in the group, every now and again, there's a comment that's made or a post that's made, and someone says, I'm doing X and X is not working, right? I've tried X and X is not working the way I thought. Or somebody will ask it another way. They'll say, has anybody had any success with X? Has anybody had success with blank? Has anybody had success selling this? Has anybody had success doing that? And what's underneath that is I'm trying it and it's not working. And that's what's underneath that, right? Sometimes you're asking just because the dialogue is good. I appreciate that. But sometimes what's happening is you're doing it right now and it ain't working the way you thought. And you're trying to figure out how it's supposed to work. And so you ask, hey, has anybody tried X? Because X ain't working for me, right? Okay. So let's dissect that a bit. Whatever it is that you're doing, client acquisition, whatever process you're using, client service, whatever process you're using, client retention, whatever process you're using, right? Whatever you're doing, okay? Does that process have intentionality in it? Are you sure what the outcome of that process is supposed to be? Do you know? Or are you just doing it because so-and-so said so? Are you doing it because it appeared to work for them? Are you doing it because you saw a clever video somewhere, you heard it, you read about it somewhere, it sounded good, and you copied, you just copy, paste. You just copied whatever they suggested in that piece of content, blog post, white paper, etc. Or does your process, does it actually have intentionality? Do you know what it's designed to do? 1. 2, are you measuring that intentionality? So you got this process, you're working it, it's designed to do blank. Okay, so now what are the elements of that process? Is step 1 working? Is step 2 working? Is step 3 working? Do you even know? Or are you just kind of pushing through it, hoping that when you push through it, press send, push through it, press go, that magic will just kind of happen and things will just kind of be better? Do you understand your own process? Is really what I'm getting at here. You got to know what it's designed to do. And for example, with client acquisition, correct? Because everybody wants more leads. There are a lot of ways to get more leads, but every method doesn't work well for every service. Every method doesn't work well for every client avatar or target market or niche that you focus on. So again, just because you grabbed it from so-and-so or you saw it at so-and-so or you copied it from so-and-so doesn't mean that it's going to immediately have application inside your business, especially if you don't know what it's designed to do. Because that process is designed to do something in their business. It's designed to do something when you saw it over there. But they don't tell you about what it's designed to do. They don't bring that part up. So you copy it thinking it works. You plunk it inside your business and then it kind of falls flat and you're like, right? So again, the way you're doing it, right? Is it working? Does it have intention, right? Does it have intention? Do you know what it's designed to do? Number 2, are you measuring that intention? Meaning, do you know what the numbers are? Do you know what the metrics are? Or are you kind of guessing and flubbing your way through it, right? And so in that process, and you got these numbers, got these metrics, are you making strategic changes? So not just did it work, yes or no, but did it work and where did it break? Did it work and where did it break? So if it broke in part 1, well, then we can fix part 1. If it broke in part 7, well, then we fix part 7. If it broke in part 19, then we fix part 19. But did it work? Yes or no is not a place for conversation. That's, you scrap it, you try another fancy idea. You got to see it in its steps. You got to fix what's broken so you can get it back on track and take off. That's the reality, right? We can act like it's not. We can hip hop ideas. Hey, there you have it. Lynn, cue us up for the next one. Not Lynn. I'm seeing Lynn's comment here. Emily, please cue us up for the next one, please. Lynn makes a comment. Sometimes the client thinks they know what they need. Sometimes they Google it just enough to make them dangerous. Yes, indeed. Okay. So when you, to connect with what I just said, is your way working? When you understand your way, whatever your way is, when you understand your own way, when you've got it broken up into pieces like you're supposed to, when you understand each individual piece, right? When you're clear about that inside your own business, then you're talking to a prospective client, and they run a few Google searches. They run a few Google searches, and they think they know something, and they start talking to you, and they start throwing out those fluffy, soft ideas that you know don't land, and you know they don't land because you're looking at your own process, and you go, no, prospective client, it doesn't work that way because it works like this. Bow, 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 bow. That's how we do it. We know it works that way. We have an intentioned process. So it works like this. Bang, 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 bang. What you're describing, half works. Because see, we do this every day. We've got it organized. Bang, 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 bang. And the only way you're going to get to where you're trying to go is if you follow a process that looks like this. Bang, 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 bang. So the question here really is, do you want their problem fixed or not? You can go Google it some more. Not going to stop you. But if you want to stop Googling and actually start fixing it, you probably want to follow this process like this. Bang, 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 bang. Our process costs $3,455,000, $622.18. Do you want one? You know what I'm saying? But you can't have that kind of clear conversation if you aren't clear on your own process. How about that? All right. So number 4, how do I know the client is a good fit for me? We love talking about this, don't we? Good clients. We all want good clients. No joke, right? Everybody wants good clients. What the heck is a good client, right? And then people get these high-minded right? Listen, let's go back to the core of it. We know that your prospective client is not going to fully understand or fully value your service. We already know that. Moving on, not get stuck there. They don't fully understand it. They can't fully value it. Boom. So really, one of the first things about having a good client, what makes a good client, is someone who acknowledges they actually have a problem. Not what they know about the services, because they're not going to know anything. You already know that. They're going to have major blockages about the service. Are they willing to admit that they've got a problem? Do they know they're speaking to a doctor? When you go to the doctor, you don't argue with the doctor about what the illness is called. When you go to the doctor, you say, it hurts. My stomach hurts. My head hurts. I've got discomfort, etc., etc. When you go to the doctor, you just flat out and tell him, or you flat out and tell her, it hurts. There's your acknowledgement. That makes you a good patient. Now you're saying it's over and above me. It's over my head. It's above my pay grade. I can't figure this stuff out, doctor. So I'm coming to you. Please help. Let's let that be number 1, right? Have they admitted that they have a pain? Okay. Number 2, are they interested in fixing it? So before you've done anything, right? They came to you, ouch, it hurts. Okay, right, I see. It's clear to me that you're in pain, right? Jackknife, bow, you got a situation. All right, well, do you want to do anything about that? Just do you? And they might be like, heck no, I don't want to do anything. Or, listen, give me some bandage, I'll wrap it myself and I'll run out of here. Great, if that's what you want to do. Or they might be actually interested in getting services so that it can get back in full health and move on. But you just got to make an assessment on what they want to do about their own situation. Third, now that you've got a better assessment of their own situation, can you solve for it? Like can you solve for the problem you're looking at? Right? Car analogy here, right? They were coming. Boom, jackknife, they're in a bad situation, and you witness that situation. You're looking at them, and you're thinking to yourself, can I get them out of the car? I don't think I can do it. If that's the honest assessment, I can't get them out of the car. Then you got to be honest. I can't. I understand where you are. I can help with that, right? I can call 911. I can yell for help. I can run down the street and try to run to the police department. But myself, what my resources, my hands, I don't think I can get that person out of the situation. If that's the honest assessment. The reverse is also true. If you can get them out of the car, then get aggressive about getting them go get them out of the car, right? Now, those things together end up making a good situation. But here's the part that many consultants, people like you, people that run agencies, people like you, people that run firms, people like you, is you forget how important it is for you to set the right environment so you can have the dialogue. That's where the real breakdown happens. The person comes to you because they've got a problem. They've partially admitted already. They're coming to seek some help. On the flip side, though, you got to create a space where you can have that deeper level conversation. And you can't do it with sales hacks. You can't do it with growth hacks. You can't do it being slick with your offerings. You can't do it if you're ready to sell them 14 different services on some long menu. You've got to create another kind of conversation. And that involves a different kind of preparation from you. It's a different challenge, folks. It's a different challenge. So if you to bring that home, if you're expecting people, prospective clients, to walk in off the street and just get you loads of money, that's an unfair expectation. And I apologize for all the other experts and tools and programs that imply that happens. I apologize for all the other places that make it seem like folks will just roll in off the street and just give you money because you're nice and you smile and because you got services. That's not the truth. The best clients are expecting a different kind of interaction. The best clients, the ones that pay the premium prices, the ones that stay for months and years, the best clients, the clients who are willing to work with you to help you execute at a high level, the best clients come to the table looking for a different kind of narrative. And you've got to be able to hear that kind of narrative and speak that kind of language and offer those kinds of services. And that lightweight stuff just doesn't float. It just doesn't carry. So that's what we've got on today's agenda. Let me go back and see. So Lynn said, "How about that?" So I'm not, Lynn, I don't know what you responded to, but I got the smiley face. So I'm giving you a thumbs up too. If you got a question, got some folks who are here live, got a question, got a comment, got a thought, go ahead and type that in, and we'll chit chat for a little further if we want to do that. If we don't, that's okay too. I'm not offended. But if this content sounds good to you, if you know you got to push into this level, here's what I would say to you. Right, you got to step back in your business and design it the way you want. You got to design it to attract the kind of client you want. Client acquisition, you got to design your agency to attract the kinds of clients you want. You got to design your agency to serve those clients at the highest level possible. When you attract that great client, when you attract that best client, then now you got to serve them. You got to give them the best you got. You got to wow them, and you got to design that. That's intentional design, not luck or skill or savvy or smarts or any other stuff. You got to specifically design a wow kind of service. And then now that you've wowed that client, you want them to stay. You want them to stay for next month, stay for the next 6 months, stay for the next 6 years, if that makes sense. How do you do that? You got to design that into your business. So if it's time to have that kind of conversation, how do we design this better? If it's time to have that conversation, there's a link you can click up, down, left, right, wherever it is. You can schedule some time. We can talk about this program that I have. We can talk about your specific issue, your specific challenge, and we can make sure that the program fits your needs so we can move forward aggressively so you can solve it and push on. So far, so good. So I don't see any other comments that are here. I'm going to wish everybody well. If you're not in the group, come on, get in the group. I think you'll appreciate the dialogues that we're having. So I'm signing off. A pleasure interacting with y'all. Talk to you next week.